Today we're taking a look at the brand new 2025 Excalibur Hybrid-X Crossbow. Welcome back to Mike's Archery, and today we have got a brand new introduction from Excalibur, and this is way out of their normal way of making a crossbow for sure, because they have put wheels on this thing. So as we know, Excalibur has done recurve crossbows since their inception, and this has still got recurve limbs on it. So this is the new Hybrid-X that they're introducing here for 2025. Let's dive into this thing, because it's a pretty unique piece. The speeds on this bow are advertised at 435 feet per second, and then they've got a tip-to-tip length at 10.8 inches. And then you've got a axle-to-axle length, I guess, for, I don't know what else you want to call it, but from the center of cam to center of cam in the middle of this bow is 5 inches. Now, it's an overall length on this bow at 29.6 inches. Makes it really compact. Now, as you know, Excaliburs are traditionally very wide with those recurve limbs, but they have reversed the limbs on this one, so that brings everything in really compact for this new bow. Now, the advertised weights on this bow, they're showing it at 8.3 pounds without the accessories, just a stripped down bow, and they're advertising it at 10.3 pounds with the accessories. So we loaded this one up out of the box, got it ready to shoot, and we threw it on the scales and got 10 pounds, 12 ounces, which in my opinion is pretty daggone close to 10.3. Maybe a little bit over, but not bad considering. I don't know if they used the quiver and the arrows in the weight that they did. We also added the limb savers, all that stuff. So this is fully rigged out at 10 pounds, 12 ounces. And frankly, that is probably lighter than most of your compound crossbows these days. So still coming in probably a little lighter than most of the stuff on the market, but still heavier than a traditional Excalibur. This bow does have a power stroke of 11.3 inches, so fairly short on that end of things, but still getting great speeds and great power out of this bow. Now, as we look at the features on this thing, obviously we've mentioned, very different. They're still using that high output limb material. As you have known Excalibur to have very few limb issues over the years, this thing is going to be borderline indestructible and still got those high quality limbs on this bow to be shooting those high speeds. Now, in conjunction with those high output limbs, they have got what they're calling their new inner drive cam system. So that is 2 cams built right in the center of the riser. They've got a caged riser around those cams. That's where they're getting some of the extra power out of this bow and extra speed off that short draw stroke, and it's just making all the power in this bow and making it that hybrid platform. Now, one of the other things they mentioned is the cage riser on this is protecting those cams. Bringing those cams to the middle of the bow rather than being out on the end of the limbs. We know you can drop, ding, bump into things. It's very easy to nick a cam, bend a cam when they're stuck out there on the end of the limbs. So with bringing these to the center of the bow and then putting a cage around them, it makes them very protected on this bow and allows you to be able to move this bow easily and not have to worry about bumping or banging, or if you do drop it, busting up one of your cams on the bow. It also comes with their ceasefire anti-dry fire, as well as that premium trigger system that they've been putting in their bows, giving a nice crisp feel. And we noticed the overall trigger system on this, very similar, sorry for the comparison, but to a 10-point. Just the way the whole mechanism drops out of the trigger box, slides down, the way it hooks onto the string, the cranking mechanism that's all built into the stock, all of that just screams 10-point to us. So whether it was licensed or not, I don't know, or if it's just their own design and workup of that. But 10-point's got a great system there, and Excalibur always puts high quality stuff on theirs. This cranking system is really nice. It's going to work extremely well. It's only taken about 14 pounds of force to cock this bow, and that is one of the downfalls of having a recurve bow usually. From Excalibur is if you use a rope cocker, man, is it tough to pull that bow back that last few inches because you're not getting that breakover from a cam. Now, this bow may have a little bit of a breakover having those cams in the center, but it's still got a lot of stout stiffness as you're cocking this thing back. So having that built-in crank on this system is going to make that really nice for getting it cocked back. Now, all that power with that speed is giving you about 168 foot-pounds of kinetic energy, which is way more than you're going to need to do anything in the world. Frankly, you could hunt any animal on the planet and safely kill it with this crossbow at those type of speeds and foot-pounds of kinetic energy. Also, they're going to come with their limited lifetime warranty, which is something that Excalibur puts on all their bows. So if you do have a limb failure, some type of issue with their mechanisms, whatever it might be, those are all going to be covered under that limited lifetime warranty. Now, as we look at the package that's going to come with this bow, you're going to start off putting the Overwatch scope on it from the factory. That is a 30mm scope. It's going to come with the 30mm rings as well. With that scope, you've got a 20 to 100 yard reticle in there. This is one of their top end scopes, so it's got a lot of light gathering with that 30mm tube. And then you're going to be speed adjustable with your 300 out to 475 feet per second. And that's going to help you depending on what grain weight that you put on your arrow and what you build up for it. It's also going to have magnification from 2 to 5 power as well. So just one of their top end scopes they've had in their lineup for a few years now, and we're glad to see them put it on one of their top end bows. Now from there, it's also going to come with their new Rebolt quiver, and that is a 4-arrow quiver, and they are including 4 arrows with this. Now it is a new style of arrow. If you've got a chance to look at this thing, it's a little different than what Excalibur traditionally has used on the knock end of things. This is going to be an 18-inch overall length bolt. It's going to be called the V-Flight bolt, and it's going to come with your 100 grain field points as well as your 150 grain field points. So you're going to get both in this package, which is nice to see because Excalibur has recommended for years to shoot 150 grain just to slow it down a little bit, but get that extra punch and kinetic energy out of that arrow with a heavier arrow. It tends to make flight a little better as well, so you're getting both those options out of the box with those field points. Now when you go back to that Rhino nock on the back end, their Rhino nock they've had for the last several years has been a ringed aluminum flat cap on the back of their arrows. This is different. This has got, I don't want to call it a half moon groove because it's not. It's got a string groove in the back that's really fitting pretty much exactly on the string. It's got a couple extra notches and grooves in there that I assume are part of the trigger mechanism to help the safety features of that and make sure that it can't go off if you don't have an arrow nocked. Overall, it's a new design from Excalibur, but still going to work very similar to what you have seen in the past. It's also going to have that ChargerX crank that we've already talked about installed, built into that riser of that bow, and just an overall sleek and compact look. So we're excited to get this bow in your hands. Now, when it comes to the price point on these things, it's going to come a couple different options. We're going to have some in stock on launch day that are going to come with a case. You're looking at $2,099 with a case and $1,999 without that case. So these bows are going to be top end, but it's brand new technology. It's all new. If you love Excalibur, of course, the durability of it, all the things that they have done over the past, it's incorporating all that into a much more compact and more powerful design than what they've had in the past. So overall, we're really impressed with this bow. We've had a chance to play with it a little bit, and we're going to step back to the lane, show you what we've been shooting, getting speeds out of this bow, and just the overall feel of it. So let's step back in the lane and see what this bow does. So we have stepped back in the lane, and we have got the new Hybrid-X. We wanted to shoot this over the chronograph, kind of show you how it cocks, give you some speeds out of it. We want to shoot it both ways with the 100 and the 150 grain. Just show you that it is making spec and those things. So overall, let's get this thing going here and get it set up. So it's pretty easy, nice and compact the way the crank fits in there. Like a lot of the other brands now, this just drops out. Snap that into place. Only takes about 14 pounds of pressure, I believe is what they're advertising. And that's maybe a little bit more than what like a 10-point or something else does with a cocking system. So similar to 10-point, they do have you rotate that backwards 3 turns just to take the pressure off of the internal mechanism there on the crank. Let's start here with one of the arrows. I believe we've got the 100 grain first. So that's going to give you the highest speed, which is going to be their advertised speed on this bow, which is 435. It is a new nock system, so if you're playing with this bow, you'll notice that it's still that Rhino nock they've had the last couple years, but it's got an actual groove in it, like a half moon, all metal. So it's a little different, but still works the same. You just slide it in there. So let's get the safety off here and see what speeds it puts up for a 100 grain point. So 435 is what we've got there. So right on the money and exactly what we needed to see. So it's exactly what they advertised. Let's go ahead and shoot another one. We'll do with also their recommended weight because they offer a 150 grain broadhead. Excalibur's recommended that 150 grain for years now. Obviously going to give you a little more weight to the arrow, but also a little bit slower as well. So let's see what kind of speeds that it gets with that. All right, so it's going to drop it down to 408.6 with 150 grain. That's still rocking fast, plenty fast enough for any hunting situation you're going to have. It does balance nice. We noticed it feels a little bit heavy, but it's where everything's right in the center, but it really isn't. When we told you earlier, it's at 10 pounds, 12 ounces this way. Most of your compound crossbows are going to weigh more than that. And this technically, I guess, is a compound crossbow now, just with recurve limbs attached to it. But other than that, I mean, something very different. We're impressed to see how this thing does and what it's going to bring in. But you guys need to take a look at this new bow. Reverse limb technology from Excalibur. It's good to see them doing something a little different, being innovative and bringing their platform to a whole new level. So if you're looking for one of these new Hybrid X's, give us a call, jump on the website. We've got them in stock right now.